They're going to red flag the event. They're going to stop the field, restart the race, and try and settle it.
If it's a tire weather or rain in the area.
Yeah, Mother Nature. It's the second time today. Turns 1 and 2 have had a bit of moisture falling. 8 laps complete. So they're going to pull the cars down pit road to what we hope will be a brief hold and get out there with track drying operations and get us back to a raceable surface. Mother Nature has the lead again in the Clash of 2019 at Daytona. Rain showers, pesky that they are here in Central Florida, have put us under caution once again. Lunchtime, well, for him maybe. For us, it's well past lunchtime, headed for dinner, but the cars are stopped on pit road because of a wet racetrack. They are drying the track in the back straightaway. We're hopeful of getting back to racing fairly soon. We're going to hear some audio from Paul Menard's team.
What happened? Have any idea what happened? Yeah, they're showing it again. I'll have to watch it again. I think, yeah, we zagged and he zigged. I mean, they were going for the same space.
They're going to pull the cars down pit road. There are 8 cars behind the pace car, still running with no or minimal damage. Kurt Busch got through unscathed. So did Joey Logano. A little bit on Ryan Blaney's. Alex Bowman's car, we saw the nudge he got to the nose. Chase Elliott still running. Austin Dillon pretty well crumpled up, and it looked like Aric Almirola missed most of it. So, yeah, usually we have a graphic of cars involved in wreck. We're going to do it the other way around.
Oh, there's 3 cars that were not involved.
There is your winner of the Clash of 2019. Due to the heavy rain, the race has been called. It's official. Jimmie Johnson is your winner.
Oh, no, DiBenedetto!
And everybody!
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me? This is big. Wow. But it...
Boy, it just reminds me of the Clash. Same type of carnage that we saw where these cars were going everywhere. A lot of damage as they all got to turn 3.
Well, that ruined everything.
I mean, sometimes I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
DiBenedetto and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Paul Menard giving a pretty nice push down the back straightaway to DiBenedetto. Gets to his right rear. Oh, yeah, that just starts to turn him a little bit.
Got him in the right rear.
And then he collects Menard.
Yeah.
Logano just misses it, but the whole outside lane and half the inside pile up.
And this is exactly what we were just talking about. At this stage in the race, you can start to taste victory in the Daytona 500. You want to see that checkered flag, and you'll do anything to get it, and you know you've got to be more aggressive with those bump drafts.
It looks exactly like the Clash. I mean, all those cars, third turn, all those cars wadded up, sliding up the track with sparks flying. And just so much like the Clash. Look at that 10 car.
Almirola's number 10.
Look at David Ragan underneath the 10 of Almirola.
David Ragan, see what springs he's running. Look at that.
All those sparks flying. Man, amazing shots.
And all Almirola wanted was a chance to win it on the last lap.
Yeah, I didn't
like last year.
Didn't quite get there. Close.
So under the red flag, the cars are parked as we await cleanup to be completed.
2 rows back, 3 rows back. Oh, Bowyer gets turned.
Yeah,
looked to me like he came up just a little bit too early on McDowell.
Oh, my gosh.
And William Byron's luck runs out.
Get through that one.
What memo did we not get? I mean, this is crazy.
Stay with that 14. He's rolling there. 3 wide, just 3 wide. Stay down, stay down. All right, you're good, you're good, you're good. Just stay.
Yeah, somebody's got some luck on his side, or
Chase Elliott.
Skill.
3 wide. 2 wide, back to 3. Oh, we're wrecking again. We had such a run going.
Well, William took 2 hard hits to the driver's side door, one from Clint Bowyer and then the next one later by Landon Cassill. I just wish Bowyer could have stayed down on that yellow line. That was going to put him in such a great position.
Jimmie Johnson in the 48.
You know, Bowyer was not a happy camper about where he had to restart. And, of course, he was trying to get back to where he was. He was running third. He almost made it.
Now, to establish that restart order, NASCAR freezes the field on the caution, goes back to the last scoring loop where everyone was running prior to the moment of caution. That's how they reset the order. The 20, Erik Jones.
Ooh,
shoots
boy,
through.
He did just thread the needle there. Barely made it through.
We are 2 laps from finishing the Daytona 500. Red flag is out. Cleanup being finished up tonight on Fox. Bob's Burgers is next, except on the West Coast.
That right there, you know what I call that? That's sitting on a hot stove and peeing ice water, baby. I'm telling you.
Car in the wall, Chris Buescher. And he gets tagged by DiBenedetto. Truex is in it. And so is the 77 of rookie Justin Haley.
Right on cue.
19 of Truex getting caught up in this.
Larry, that trend was nobody's friend. 7 to go.
We're going to fire on the 95 to Benedetto.
Having a great day, just running so well all day long.
Good to see him climb out. Chris Buescher took a hard hit. And there's Haley. His rookie run spoiled.
I believe the 10 car of Almirola gets a nice run behind Chris Buescher. He almost tries to make it 3 wide right there. Buescher comes down. Little bit of contact right there and just turns the 37 around.
Boy, and Benedetto had nowhere to go, and Truex had nowhere to go.
So happy to see that 37 car stay on the ground when the 95 hit him. Yeah, big hit by Haley in the 77.
Wow.
All the drivers have exited their cars under their own power. And the cars have been stopped with 6 laps to go. Brad Keselowski is too much for him, and Team Penske wins stage 2. Keselowski, Bowman, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, William Byron.
It's 2 stages for Keselowski.
Here's Alex Bowman, who just finished 2nd in stage 2 with one of our military remembrances.
Chief Petty Officer Tummelson was killed coming to aid some of his fellow soldiers when the Chinook he was traveling aboard was shot down in Afghanistan. It's my honor to drive for Chief Petty Officer Tummelson and all who have lost their lives in the name of our freedom.
John Tummelson was 35. His cousin Greg, a longtime employee of Bowman's sponsor, Nationwide. What happens next is something that is unique in motorsport and in all of sport. As the flag of remembrance is brought out into the ball field between pit road and the start-finish line, these cars, these teams, this sport will observe a moment of silence for Memorial Day. And those hundreds of horsepower that have been roaring around Charlotte Motor Speedway will go silent along with all of us.
All right, don't do anything. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Wait on my command.
To honor those who helped us, who gave everything so we could do this. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to ask you to stand for a moment of remembrance to honor the servicemen and women who have sacrificed their lives so that we may enjoy our freedom this Memorial Day weekend. To honor the fallen from our U.S. Armed Forces, please join us in a 30-second moment of silence.
The Honor and Remember flag is a national symbol of remembrance, perpetually recognizing the ultimate sacrifice of our military fallen heroes and their Gold Star families from all conflicts, from all branches of service. If you want to learn more, visit honorandremember.org or text the word flag to 71777.
There's rain in the area, so there's a little bit of sense of urgency down here. And Junior, I'm reminded of what Kevin Harvick told us in the pre-race show. Track position is king. You can see these guys fighting for it tooth and nail here early in the race.
Absolutely. All the top 8 cars are winless this year. All these guys are trying to win a race. Caution is out.
I'm sure it's weather.
We heard it from the spotter. I'm sure it's weather. Sure enough, it is.
That was spotter Earl Marvin with a 48.
That's a difficult sight to see when they bring them onto pit road. Again, haven't really seen any precipitation. We know, as Marty had mentioned, that there are storms all around this racetrack right now. And they're going to bring the cars onto pit road. 12 laps complete. Still a lot to go in stage 1. Still a lot to go in this race. There you saw it, that lightning strike. That's the reason they're on pit road. It's been a lightning storm on the racetrack as well to start this one in Chicago. The ground is actually moving. We're in the press box up here, and we can feel this moving. You look over our shoulder, and it looks as though the sun is out, but it is unbelievable weather conditions right now. I think people would be surprised when they look over our shoulder that we're not racing right now, but you obviously can tell, and you experienced it when you came up here.
I walked out of the door coming into the booth, and it was crazy what was going on, and actually opened the door to the booth, and it went flying out of my hands. Stuff came flying out of the booth. I mean, it's really, really crazy out there. So good job by the track and NASCAR getting everybody out of the grandstands, even way before it got raining, because they needed to get some safe shelter.
Chaos on the racetrack, and right now we're under a weather delay. A little chaos here with the weather. Well, remember, you can join us weekdays at 5 o'clock for NASCAR American. On Wednesday, it's Motor Mouth, and the special guest will be Ryan Blaney. You know, fans, you can call in and talk to Ryan Blaney. Call in to talk to the guys on the show. It's a great in time. Thankfully, no cars were destroyed in the shooting of that piece, but there were 103 cars that were destroyed in the shooting of Blues Brothers. Well, look at this. This storm came in so quickly, and it is pouring rain. The wind is blowing extremely hard. While that is happening, and yes, that's what the Peacock pit box looks like right now, this is a not so good picture right here. The storm has come, and it is blowing hard and raining very hard here at the racetrack. So we're in a weather delay from Chicagoland.
Kurt Busch was one of those guys that was out on the racetrack leading the race, hoping that we would catch some weather and he would maybe be declared the winner, but he has decided to come down pit road, get service.
So Justin Haley on our scoring monitor, and we're seeing a little bit of lightning there outside the track still, and of course the dark weather, but Justin Haley showed as the race leader.
They said, we're coming to 1 to go. So that means they think the race is going to restart. So the 1 car comes down pit road. NASCAR goes 1 to go, then down the back straightaway, conditions change, they get a lightning strike, they call it off. So right now, Matt McCall is like, man, I was in the right position. You gave 1 to go. Why'd you give 1 to go? You know he's upset with that call to change it and then say, hey, we're going back, caution.
And so now the pace truck is going to bring the field back onto pit road, and we'll go to Marty.
And Kurt Busch, Rick, is livid on the radio. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Got the news of the century. Yep. They took one away from me in 2014 as well.
That's him processing the information that you just laid down, Jeff, that after they pitted, they called off the restart, and they made that decision based on the 1 to go call that you mentioned. So Kurt Busch not very happy with NASCAR's decision here.
They will cover the cars up. A red flag has been displayed on the field. With only 33 laps to go, crushing for Kurt Busch to make that move. Potentially could have had a win today. The inner circle, that's the 8 miles. And so if anytime a lightning strike happens inside of that inner circle, they have to have what's happening right now, a red flag condition, bringing the cars onto pit road.
Heck of a call by Peter Suspenzo and everyone at Spire Motorsports. Everyone on this Fraternal Order of Eagles, Chevrolet, for giving me this opportunity. This is my 3rd Cup start. Talladega was my debut, and it didn't quite go our way. So we were kind of riding around in the back there, just trying to stay out of trouble. We missed a big one, which was good. And man, I kept seeing lightning, and out of 3 and 4, and that storm was blowing through. So got the FOE convention this week. I'm going to go to Tuesday and Wednesday. So hopefully we can pull off a win here. I've never been too lucky at Daytona, as we all know. So it owes me one. It might not owe me one, but either way, it's pretty good media for us.
The lightning strike was within 8 miles, and anybody who's got a soccer player or a football player, if you know around that sporting venue, if that happens, it's a 30-minute wait until it is all clear. So we're about 25 minutes from the last strike that was within that 8-mile radius of the racetrack. And so we have about 25 minutes to go from the last strike. So we have to wait. There hasn't been precipitation on the racetrack, which means if we can go 25 minutes without a lightning strike within the 8 miles, they'll send the guys back to their cars, put them back in, and we can go back racing.
The great thing is, currently, the only place that it rained was in 3 and 4. The front straightaway is dry. 1 and 2 is completely dry. Pit road is completely dry. The guys on pit road never got rained on. So this is the only part of the racetrack that got wet.
And once again, we're seeing Darrell Wallace Jr., Bubba Wallace, who we have seen this before in a rain delay situation. He's gone out and played catch with the fans. Now this is tough because he's got to throw the football over the catch fence to get it up to the grandstands. And he did. Again.
I couldn't do that.
Corey LaJoie was also down with him previously when they did this.
Well, we just heard about the beach. This is it, right? I mean, this is what you do. Come to the 4th of July, watch a little racing, throw the football on the beach. Bubba Wallace. I want to know if he's improved his form. You know, Sims gave him a few. Gave him a few pointers.
Talked about how he needed to keep his hand on the ball a little bit longer, and he actually mentioned that his arm was very sore after the last time he did it. He's a Tennessee football fan. Has spent a little time with the Volunteers. So they probably helped him out a little bit with his throwing motion.
He's got some friends coming over here.
Oh, look at.
Who's this with him?
Oh, he needs a little towel help. Oh, I think that's Hemric.
Daniel Hemric coming out. Daniel also a part of the Michigan Fun. That's where they were the last time there was a rain delay, where the drivers actually came out and had some fun with the fans waiting to get back into their cars.
They got the air titans going by, so they got to wait.
There's a slight delay. Yeah.
It's a little easier.
Is that the pass rush? The pass rush?
A little easier coming from the grandstands downhill to them.
Ryan Newman, he fell asleep in his car while some of the other guys were having fun. That was Ryan Blaney trying to punt the football. Then Hemric and Bubba Wallace, Corey LaJoie, they all decided it was time to have some fun with the fans, so they went and started playing catch. Corey LaJoie, the southpaw,
almost made it on top of the bus.
And so now they're going to have a little more fun with the fans here at Daytona. What a great way to spend the time. We mentioned,
man,
the catch bench is tough. Did you see Bubba's reaction too?
Oh yeah, because Bubba's got it over.
There we go. Not a tight spiral, but at least it made it up into the grandstands.
No, good thing it's not a windy day. That thing was not going to cut through the breeze.
It's not like you were on TV or anything when you did that.
I mean, I've seen the pass rush just right here. You see the defender, he gets his hand up, the defender being the 25-foot chain link fence, and he's going to knock this one right out of the air.
It appeared that the pass rush was coming. He had to get rid of it quickly.
And they're still waiting for the ball to come back down. Ryan Newman's not sleeping during this rain delay. Dave?
He is not, Rick. He's watching with me, though. Who do we take here? Do we take the fans, or do we take the drivers here?
The fans are hydraulically lubricated. I'd go with the drivers right now.
And unfortunate piece of information just given to me. Lightning 6.8 miles away. The lightning clock starts again. So now 30 minutes will have to pass before they are allowed to go back out onto the track. So the lightning clock just started again.
One of the coolest things I think coming down here at the 4th of July race is just that, you know, you see so many families here. This has turned into a place where people, you know, take their families to vacation and they hang out, and it's a completely different environment on Friday and Saturday and Thursday until the race starts. And when the race starts, it's all back to business, but it's just a much more casual environment when you're down here, even during practices. But that all changes when the green flag drops. And you know, one of my favorite memories was racing with Dale Jarrett here, finally finding a way to finish in front of Dale Jarrett. And you know, in Daytona was hard, and I finally got a win. And you know, not that I beat him, but just so much respect for he and Robert Yates and what they were doing to finish in front of them meant just a tremendous amount to me.
So again, under a lightning delay, NASCAR does that. Anytime a lightning strike is within 8 miles of the racetrack, it's for safety. And at NBC, we do it as well. Our camera operators are taken off of their positions off the roof, and we even had Steve off of the Peacock pit box. He's joined us up here in the booth now, but that is the reason for this delay right now, is the lightning strike. The lightning countdown clock has now become irrelevant because the rain has started here on the backstretch. You see it, it's in turn 1, turn 2, and it is moving across the track now. So the rains have come and they have lost the track, so that means a minimum of 2 to 2.5 hours of track drying that will have to take place.
Again, that's a save and a wow factor all rolled up in one, and they're right there with a big air again.
Man, he was the only driver on the
Cameras remain focused on Justin Haley just in case the word comes down. It's 33 laps still to go from Daytona, but the rain has picked up. The track lost. It is covered with rain and moisture. And again, a reminder, a minimum of 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours to dry this racetrack once the rain has stopped. We continue to watch and monitor the radar. It doesn't look good right now. The rain keeps building from the south, and that was where this most recent rain shower came from. So we are going to wait until NASCAR makes a decision if they will go back to racing. If they don't, 20-year-old Justin Haley will get his first Monster Energy Cup Series win in just his 3rd start for this young Spire team. Rain is coming.
Monster Energy Cup race. Congratulations.
Thank you, bud.
Go see your family.
You're seeing it live.
Hey.
There's your winner.
He's being told right now.
He's getting ready to go.
Justin Haley has won his first ever Monster Energy Cup Series race.
That was awesome, man.
I mean, I didn't do anything.
I know.
I did nothing.
Jimmie Johnson, Ryan Newman going at it there. Behind them, here's Kyle Busch. Brad Keselowski, Erik Jones is sideways. He and Keselowski make contact. Keselowski and Jones into the outside wall. And Brad will slam hard into the inside wall. Massive collision for Brad Keselowski, who makes just a hellacious hit into the inside wall off turn 2.
And it looks as though that car's sideways, maybe up on top. Yeah, it's up on top of the tire barriers. So Brad Keselowski, you see the window net is down, but hard contact for the 2 and Brad Keselowski into those tire barriers.
Erik Jones tries to feel the hole. It's very tight right there. Brad coming down to 20, trying to get in that position, and it took all the air off the right side of that 20 car. Erik Jones getting a little bit loose there underneath the tube.
The passenger side contact for that tube getting up under the tires.
I actually think those tires were very well placed. That wall is kind of an opposite angle.
Under a red flag condition of the Monster Energy Cup Series race from Indianapolis, this telecast presented by Golden Corral.
I was trying to leave room, and I probably came down on Erik just a little bit more than I thought I did, and he got loose, no air on the car, and I hit the wall there, and then there's this spot on the wall with just an atrocious angle. I don't know what that spot is for, but it does not need to be there, but we found it. That's how racing goes. You find the things, and we found this. You know, this track really was part of the safety revolution, you know, about 15, 20 years ago, and I think it's time for another.
Well, they talk about the safer barriers being put in 2002, but the guys in the booth kind of analyzing that maybe that was a good spot for the tires, given that angle of the wall behind it.
Yeah, that's an interesting conclusion. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I think there probably should not be weird angles like that to wreck on. But it is what it is. I'm glad I'm okay, but tough day for everyone on the Discount Tire 14.
With the fluid being put down and the cleanup having to take place, NASCAR has red flagged the race so that no more laps are run off, and so they will clean that track up. We're hearing that the 52, Garrett Smithley, he had an issue and a rear end, maybe an axle or something that he had a problem with, and so maybe some rear end grease that was down on the track. You see the right rear tire all shiny, so some fluid coming off of that car.
Yeah, the axle cap looked like it was missing. The axle will come out, and so will the rear end grease. So you mentioned how hot it is today. Drivers, you've always told me the absolute worst time on a hot day is a red flag sitting in the car with no air to move.
118 is what I'm seeing on the thermometer here inside the car for Matt DiBenedetto. You see him take a really big, deep breath right there.
Well, not only the heat, but you guys know that with that heat and the stress that many of these drivers are under, that makes it even that much hotter. They don't want to sit here and think about it. They wanted to go do it, and now they're having to sit in this hot race car with 7 laps to go, a season on the line, and without being able to do anything about it. It's just horrible. It's a horrible position to be in. They just want to go and drop the green flag and do what it is they need to do.
The 18 of Kyle Busch, he decided that he wasn't going to sit there on the track anymore. He's 3 laps down, and he decided, I'll just bring it into the garage. So he turned around and went backwards down pit road, pulled it into the garage, and now he's out of the car, and he'll be watching the end of this race.
He can't gain or lose, so get out of town. We talked about the hot day. Kyle Busch, he got out of his race car. Well, look how warm it is, 116 degrees now with no air movement in the 95, and the race leader, Kevin Harvick, trying to get a little bit of fluid from his drink, shakes it around, that sad feeling when there's nothing left in it. Well, be creative. Says, I think there's some ice in here. That would feel pretty good. So, hey, whatever it takes at this point to kind of get ready. Cool yourself down. You know, it sounds silly, you know, driver comfort is not just to help their comfort. It's to help the improvement of the race car. A comfortable driver is going to do a better job.
Marty.
And there you see officials taking water bottles to the drivers who are on the racetrack under this red flag with 7 to go. Ryan Newman obviously fighting for his season in 2019, but says, I'm going to need some help after the race. Here's what he told the team a moment ago on the radio.
Guess they ran out of water today. Need a whole bunch of ice water, and I need a whole bunch to cool my body off after I get out of this car.
Jeff, when you sit under a red flag like this, I mean, it's almost worse as a driver, right? All that heat just kind of billows up in the car. There's no air moving in the car, and Ryan Newman certainly feeling that right now. He's been battling for the playoffs all afternoon long, but you feel it a lot more when you sit under a red flag like this.
And nothing to take your mind off of it, Marty. That's the thing. You know, when you're driving a race car, you get into that rhythm, and it's competition. But when you're just sitting there, it's, you know, you're sitting in that car that's that hot. We just showed the thermometer how hot it is inside those race cars, and there's nothing to take your mind off of it. You just cannot find a way to get away from it.
Yeah, I think that one line of showers is going to move through, and we should be to the right of that cell. That tells me that as this race gets later in the afternoon, Jeff, I think all of these guys with a little bit of an unknown factor are going to have to race harder each and every lap.
Yeah, no question, Steve. Once this moves through and it does go back green, you're going to have to assume there's more rain coming, and I think as soon as the green flag were to drop, you got to go with full intention of leading as much as you can, get as many points as you can.
And they are making this change right now. Paul Menard is going to get out of the 21. Matt Crafton is climbing into it right now. So they'll bring them onto pit road. The drivers will stay in their cars. This is not for them to pit. So they are just coming to pit road. It looks as though they're going to stop on pit road because of the rain and the precipitation. All right, guys. Well, the first stage, pretty eventful, especially the ending there when they were 3 and 4 wide fighting for the lead.
I couldn't believe the racing that we saw, and there's some of the points that some of these guys have been able to get out of that first stage. William Byron, obviously a great job by those guys. He did a really smart thing later in that race. I know that they wanted him to move down and bring his teammates with him, but it took some guts, I think, to trust that outside line. Even though you see that inside line moving forward and they're coming to challenge you, he stuck with his teammates up high and believed in their ability to do it, and it allowed him to win that stage.
Joe Logano checking out our scoring monitor, and it shows that he finished second in that stage. I thought the bottom was going to have the momentum there. Were you thinking that you could get by the 24 on that last lap?
Oh, that was the hope, right? I saw a bunch of Fords down there, and it is, you know, the Hendrick cars really made that top work good, and we kind of got shuffled back with about 6 or 7 to go. We went all the way to the back of the pack, and then I went 3 wide to the top and saw the Hendrick car, and like, well, I'll just follow them and see what happens, and got towards the front, and then it all single filed against the wall. And then I saw the Roush cars and the Penske car down there, and I was like, this is going to be a good shot for us. So I was trying to get ahead of them and try to gain a couple more spots and hopefully get the stage win. But scored some points. That's the goal, right? That's 9 in the bank. That's good. We got to get some more, though, so it was a start.
It seemed like the Ford guys were really lined up, and they were in a good position. And then all of a sudden, the 2 and the 14 kind of went off on their own. Were you surprised that, A, they did that, but B, the tandem draft worked so well, Joey?
A little bit of both.
Another hood flap flies off. Oh, around comes the 18. The 42 collects the 17 as well. The 62 upside down. Brendan Gaughan upside down as he went back in front of the pack.
We're wrecked here, guys.
And the big one happens right at the front of the field.
So Kurt pushing Kyle. It just hooked him. And look at Brendan Gaughan just flipped right over. It's like the nose of that Chevrolet just can't quite push him straight. It just can't do it.
Yeah, the 17 goes up to side draft. I don't think that affects the 18. It's the one just pushing his brother. It peels the 18 off to the right. It looks a lot like the 24 accident. Look at the 62, a full flip back on its wheels, thank goodness. Instantly stopped the flipping, put the car back in position. But a huge, huge accident.
You wonder, though, if the side force, like right here, if the side force didn't help push the car and roll it off the front bumper, right?
Yeah.
Just the air moved it to
he's
the
trying
right.
to pull him back.
Yes, and just moved it, and then that helped with that pointed nose of the Chevrolet, the combination of the two.
Oh, this shot right here.
Yeah.
Coming right at you. Look at this 62. It looks like a toy car. It doesn't look real.
3,400 pounds. Remember that. These things are almost 2 tons.
Well, you know, we take off.
All you got here, pushing ramp. Half apart now from. All right, keep low, 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 keep low.
The airport for this racetrack where these drivers teams come in and out of just off of turn 2. Those planes over there land, take off at 125 knots.
Yeah.
Listen, I've said for years that in the off-road we flip a lot. The easiest thing you can do in a race car is go upside down. Nothing hits hard. So that's the nicest thing about it. And, oh, here we go. I don't even know what happened. I just know that Brad was pushing the crap out of me, and I loved it. Oh, that's Stenhouse. Go figure. Yeah, it stuck the landing. Russian judge docked me a little bit, and I didn't keep it straight. No, I mean, look, the Beard Oil Chevy, man, we ran a great strategy. Darren Shaw, Ron Lewis, my spotter, everybody. It was awesome. I mean, 62 was in front for a split second. And let's see, legs together. I mean, didn't really stick it well, but no, like I said, I'm just so proud of. Thank you to ECR and Richard Childress and those guys, the Chevrolet they gave me. Thank you to Darren and Ron and all the guys in this team. I mean, the Beard family, I love them. Mother, it's okay. It's just a flip. It didn't hurt, I promise. and I have nothing upstairs to hurt anyway, so they all laugh at me in there.
I did want to verify that, because when these cars come down at funny angles for race cars, like flat like that, the back's okay and everything?
Yeah, no, because you're still going 200 mile an hour that way, so it never like just drops out of the sky. So it was okay. It was just one easy quick flip and put it down. The only thing you're worried about then is somebody hitting you. You know, that's what you don't want. That's where the fear comes in. But other than that, I'm fine. And like I said, some people would argue if I have anything up there to hurt. But thank you to Chevrolet. Thank you to the Beard family. I love you guys. And yes, I will see you in the Daytona 500, Mom. Sorry.